A different man. Aspiring actor Edward undergoes a radical medical procedure to drastically transform his appearance, but his new dream face quickly turns into a nightmare as he loses out on the role he was born to play and become obsessed with reclaiming what was lost.
I think there's several themes. I wouldn't want to pin it down to one, but I certainly think identity is one of the themes, specifically how much our self identity or the way we think about ourselves is defined by other people, by what people think of us, especially if the general consensus is stacked against you. If people in general tend to find you wanting or defective in some way, how do you maintain your sense of identity? How do you maintain your sense of dignity? Alone against the negative judgment of others. So that is certainly one of the themes of the film. Certainly, I mean, I was, I have a cleft palate, and that certainly is um, influences my way of viewing the world and has influenced all my films. And so, yeah, I think that's a subject that I'm always trying to mine in some way.
Sebastian, I play Edward, and I think, like it was said in the log line, he's an actor, and he decides to take on this sort of experiment, and and uh, and then his life changes forever as a result of it. It's the journey of this person who, as Aaron kind of highlighted, um, has a confrontation with his ego and identity, and makes a choice that affects his life forever in a way that he didn't probably anticipate. But yeah, it's all one person. I actually think that's one of the reasons. I actually think identifying it as two people is kind of the problem to begin with, because it's internally. Yes, yeah. I'm just saying it's the soul of the internal arc is always what's happening. But we do hang on the exterior, which is, I think, what the problem is in many ways.
Yeah, he goes by two different names after he sort of changes his identity, but to us and in the script, it's always one name. I mean, he's really just one person.
So Ingrid is a very kind uh, girl next door, uh, and Edward moves in. She's an aspiring writer, director, and very ambitious, I guess, with her whole life. And she doesn't let herself fall in love with her new neighbor. But when he disappears, she kind of becomes obsessed with taking his story and telling his story, and puts on this play where, yeah, should I like say what happens after all the twists and turns? How much? No,
How much do we
that's all.
reveal?
What?
It's the real question. How much do we reveal right now? Alex
Yeah,
always leaves them like wanting more. Stuff happens.
yeah.
Go see the movie. And Adam Pearson, actor, played the role of Oswald, just this gregarious, very successful, warm, friendly guy, friend to all, hero to many, and just sort of comes in and just gets involved, and then Sebastian's character just becomes obsessed.
I just thought, it's something I immediately wanted to be involved in, and then we had a meeting, and it went well, and then I think from then on, obviously, um, you guys go back to
Yeah.
Chain for Life, and probably earlier, and so.
Yeah, I wrote the role for of Oswald for Adam Pearson, whom I worked with before. Um, I never write roles for anybody else, especially at the point I was writing this, because I don't know who I can get, and so I'll only write parts for friends or people I've worked with. And so in roles where I don't know who I'm going to cast, I think about old dead actors sort of just to guide me. Like I thought of Cary Grant or something, Ingrid Bergman. So like I just as something to hang on to. But Sebastian came to me, and we hit it off immediately. I mean, we talked for an hour, maybe 2 hours. And then the movie was happening, and we were shooting within 7 weeks. I mean, we went from doing nothing or trying to get this thing together, and then it was happening, and then Sebastian and I both had just seen Renata's movie and Worst Person in the World, and we both said to each other, what do you think? Would she be great? And I, thought it was almost hubris to say her name out loud because I knew she was having a moment, and I thought, who she's not, for her first English language film, like we don't want to waste time, like asking her because it's just not gonna happen. And Sebastian said, well, you should ask if it's what you want. So we asked, and I think 2 days later we were talking, and she was in. So it all happened very quickly.
Oh, I love the script. It reminded me. I told you in the first meeting that it was very like Charlie Kaufman, which who I love. And our first conversation, we had kind of the same ideas of how much to play and how much to plan. And I was very scared because it was my first international, like English speaking role. But yeah, and it was very fast. It was yeah,
22
yeah,
days. I think
yeah.
we got a half, 23rd half day due because we were shooting during COVID. We lost a lot of people to COVID, and one part in particular. We lost on the day he showed up. It was sort of a cameo role, and he had to leave because of COVID. So we got an extra half day to bring him back and reshoot that part. But yeah, 22 and a half days basically.
I've been pumped since I got here. I spent the whole festival walking around like a dog that's just seen a magic trick. Like, it's great.
I feel it's very warm and very charming, but it really, yeah, tries to talk about some big themes. So yeah, I saw it all alone for the first time, and was I laughed and was very charmed. Yeah.
I think what Aaron is exploring with this movie is really, really, really important, and I actually worry that sometimes people come to movies now, and a lot of reasons is for this, right? Because with a very sort of short attention span, and they need these things, or and so I really hope people kind of just like, rather than try to like figure out, or just really try and sit with the experience that they have in the film and what it might, because I think one of the things I loved about the script, and obviously why I wanted to work with him, was there's a lot of things he's saying, and it actually is universal in a lot of ways, because it's about identity and acceptance, and the ego, and many things in the film happen to us regularly when we sacrifice ourselves for a certain idea or certain things, and that your own self-truth and honesty go out down the toilet with it. And I think this is a movie that I just feel speaks in many, many levels, and I just it's and we had this interview the other day, and I want to highlight it again, where he said, he was like, so often, and you can say this better than me, I think, but so often, he's trying to make a movie about this subject, of our own discomfort around disability, our own, like, unawareness of it, and it's so difficult to do, because if you're doing something, you're either caught between a rock or a hard place, and then the subject altogether doesn't happen, and it's like, that's, and I just think, just hoping people go see it, that's really all that, just to right, to kind of like experience it, that's all we want.
I want people to go see it, and I want people to talk about it. I think we as humans tend to avoid discomfort at all costs, like it's a bad thing. But I think a little bit of discomfort, when you can push through it, in the end, makes us better people. And there's so much nuance and talking points in this song. It's always really easy to make a film and yell at an audience and tell them what to think. And if you do that, you can change what they think for maybe a day. Whereas something like this, it's nuance and a real springboard to conversation. Does it on a whole different level. Good cinema will change what you think, and great cinema will change how you think. And I can say that Aaron Schoenberg is in the great cinema business.